Hello friends, and welcome to Escaping the Mouse with your host, me, Breck Roll. You may recall a couple weeks ago I spent a few episodes building up a mineral display case because prior to that I had all my rocks and minerals up on top of the table here, and that wasn't really what I designed the table for. So I built the case down here hoping that I could get all my minerals in there and have me a little bit of room left over so I could continue collecting. Well, I was a little bit disappointed when I got the thing put together finally that basically the whole thing was packed to the gills with my minerals. Now, I've taken a couple of the big pieces out, and they're going to be conversation pieces here that will maybe just live on top of the table here, and that buys me a little bit more room down there in the corner. But I was really hoping I'd have more space when I finished up than I actually ended up having one. And turns out another one of my viewers made the same observation in a comment on that last video, noticing that, well, it's kind of a shame you kind of filled the whole thing up in your first batch. Are you going to stop collecting now? And I started thinking, no, I don't really want to stop collecting now. And it turns out she said, well, what you ought to do is retrofit this desk and turn this into more of a display case. And that really got me thinking, because this desk was something I built about 11 years ago. At the time, I decided to go back to school because I knew I wasn't making any progress at Disney, and I figured I needed to learn a new trick so that I could support myself for the next half of my life. And so I started going back to school with the goal of going after a computer science degree. And I decided, I was going to need to have a desk to work. So I built myself a desk at the time. This is it. And it served its purpose for quite a while. But the truth is, lately it's just been a place where I put junk because I'm not going to school anymore and I don't need a desk that much. So that was actually a really good idea, to put shelves in this thing and turn this into another mineral display case. And there's a lot of advantages to doing this right now, because I still have lumber left over from the construction of this piece that would be enough to finish off this piece. So all I need to do is get some shelf brackets, clear this thing out, install the shelves, install the lighting. I got another tape strip just like the one that's in the other case here. And over the next few days, that is what we're going to do, is we're going to transform this desk into my mineral display case part 2. So needless to say, the first step was getting all of the excess stuff off of the shelf, get it all cleaned up and ready to go. Like I said, this is going to be a fairly simple project because all I got to do is just install a couple of shelves in there. The bulk of the work is already done. It's already nice. There's already electricity in it. I got electricity in the top there powering the lights, so they're inside this panel here, which I can access from behind. So I'll be able to tap into the electricity here. The light strip will go all the way across here, back into through the back panel, come down here in the middle, come back out, go across this shelf all the way here, back into there, down to this area down here, across, back into the back of it, and down to the ground level where there'll be one more shelf. So yeah, this is going to significantly increase the amount of space in here. You really look at it, this shelf here, while it's 8 feet long, it's only a foot deep. So what are you looking at, 16 square feet? Well, this thing's right here is probably about 16 square feet almost, and I'm going to have 2 shelves of that, and then 2 shelves of this down here, which are about a little bit more than 4 foot, and it's still 2 feet to the back. So there's going to be a lot of, this is probably going to triple my my rock display capabilities, but that's a good thing. I got room to grow, right? All right, I've succeeded in getting the basic pieces cut into size so they basically fit in there. I got 2 shelves down here on the bottom. One will be on the floor, one will be kind of halfway up. We've already got the platform here for the bottom, so this one will be raised up to kind of the mid-level. And well, I think the next thing I want to do now is put the shelf brackets in there so we can start getting these exactly positioned. And I have to do a little bit of cutting out here because I got these little corner pieces. I got this little piece that holds things together in the middle, and I got another little corner piece there. And I'm going to push these shelves all the way back so that they go flush to the back wall there, and that means chopping out those little bits and pieces. I had to do that a little bit over here to make room for the shelf brackets, because like I said, the shelf brackets stuck out a little bit too, and so I cut little notches in the wood there to go around that, and just want to reproduce that here so it looks like it sort of belongs together. All right, some time has passed. Actually, a lot of time has passed. It's the next week for me. The scenes you saw before I did last week before I went back to work. That was why you didn't get a vlog last week. But we're going again on this. This is the shelves I've cut out. I spent a whole bunch of time getting them all cut to size. I got 3 of them. You can see 2 here. There's the 3rd one sitting on top of the desk there. Next thing I want to do is start installing these shelf brackets. Now, I had to cut the shelf brackets down a little bit because they were too little long for the area I was going to go into. But I got a little power cutter that did quick work of this. So next step now is to install the brackets and then get the cross members in there and start fitting in the shelves. All right, some more time has passed on this. I've gotten the first, the 2 bottom shelves kind of pretty much fit in there, and they're in position and they're doing pretty good. Now, I ran into a couple of problems trying to put the top shelf in. For one thing, when I designed the thing, it was a couple of pieces of plywood that are attached to each other, and then where the plywood pieces came together across top and bottom here, I attached another piece of plywood onto it just to kind of keep everything flat and flush. And then on this side, the seam is covered up with this little decorative piece back here. Well, it turns out when I drove these screws here through for the center shelf bracket, they went through the thick part, and the screws I have aren't thick enough to go, or aren't long enough to go all the way through the shelf bracket and then 2 layers of plywood. So I'm gonna have to go back to Home Depot tomorrow, get a couple of similar screws that are about 1/2 inch longer to finish this off. I'm also gonna have to trim this shelf a little bit, because while it fit down here, you know, went all the way in and all that, the dimensions are a little different back here, and this is as far back as I can get it. There's about a 1-inch gap in there because it's wedged between the 2 sides. So I'm gonna have to take a little time and trim a little bit off of one of these sides in order to make this fit in here better. Like I said, this is the first time I've been able to put it into position and actually have it at the level it's gonna be. And at this point I discovered this little issue. So this is probably going to be the end of this video today. We'll come back and pick this up again tomorrow, but we're making good progress on this. Got those 2 shelves, like I said, are fit in a little bit. I need to trim them a little bit because I always, you know, when I'm doing woodwork like this, I always trim it long, because you can always cut it more, you can't always cut it less. So once we get kind of everything, we're going to put a little facing piece on the front of it so it looks real nice. Down here at the bottom, we're gonna go across there and straight down to the ground, so we'll cover up that gap. That's as low as I can make the shelf, but I don't want to be seeing you know, a gap underneath it. So we'll be putting a face piece on that, maybe you know, a face piece on that perhaps also, and on that, and then we'll be putting the lights behind that and getting that all finished up. But that's going to happen in the next couple of days. So I think that's all that I have for today. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you next time on Escaping the Mouse. Good night.